everybody, welcome back to Crochet by Landry. In this video, since all the kids are back at school these days, let's make something fun like Tish the Fish. You're going to need your sugar and cream Lily brand yarn. I'll put a link in the description box down below where you can buy it. And then grab your 5mm hook and your pattern off of Yarnspirations.com and let's get started. All right, everybody, let's get started making Tish the Fish. So here's what you're going to need to get started. You're going to need 3 colors. You're going to need a main color. I'm using Tea Rose, a white, and a black. And this brand of yarn is called Lily Sugar and Cream. And I'll put a link in the description box down below of where you can buy it. You're going to need scissors, crochet hook, which is a 5mm, and a yarn needle. And once you have all your materials, let's get started. Okay, let's get started making Tish the Fish. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your main color. And again, mine's the Tea Rose and the Lily Sugar and Cream cotton yarn. Then you're going to make a slip knot and chain 2 to get started. Now we're going to be making 2 identical pieces and then sew them together later. So 1 and 2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put 3 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then you're just going to chain 1 and turn your work. And what we're going to do is now we're going to work on the opposite side. And we're going to do, for our second row, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 2 in the first, and then 1 in the next, and then 2 in the last. Now it might be a little tight, so just take your time to get your hook in there. There we go. Okay, that's row 2. Row 3 to 5, you're going to do 2 single crochets in the first, and then 1 in the next, oops, okay, and then 1 in the next couple stitches, oops, that was 1, and then 2, and then that's 3, and then 2 in your last one. And again, if it's a little tight, just take a minute. You may have to use your finger to wiggle it in there. Okay, and you should have gone from 5 to 11. So what you're going to do now is from rows 3 to 5, you're just going to repeat that. So chain 1, turn your work. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in the first one and 2 in the last one, and then just 1 in each stitch after that. So 2 in the first, so 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then this will be 6 and 7, and this will be row 4. Okay, and then chain 1 and turn. Now do that last row, row 5 on your own, and I will catch you at the end. Okay, so at the end of row 5, you should have something that looks like this. It's the beginning of our fish. So what you're going to do now is chain 1 and turn. And now from rows 6 to 8, you're just going to chain 1 and then put 1 single crochet in each stitch across from rows 6 to 8. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 11 stitches, I believe. But if you want to count to see how many you have, that's fine. Okay, that was row 6. So do 7 and 8 on your own, and I'll catch up with you at the beginning of row 9. Okay, I got about 1 stitch left, and we're going to get ready to change colors. So go into your last stitch and then pull up a loop like you're going to finish the single crochet, but don't finish it. You're going to grab your black yarn, which is your second color, just put it over your hook. Oops. Okay. And then pull it through, finishing that single crochet. And then once you've done that, just chain 1 and pull your tails so your stitches are tight. Snip your main color for now. We'll come back to it later. Okay, once you've chained 1, turn your work. Now, if you want to make things a little bit less sewing later, you can work over your black tail and your tea rose tail so you don't have to sew them in later. Now for row 9, we're going to do another round of increasing. So it's 2 single crochets in the first, and then 1 in each stitch across, but leaving that last stitch available for increasing. So just 1 in each across, and then by the end of this, you should have 13 single crochets. So just 1 in each, and then at the end, put 2 in the last stitch. Just like that. But before you finish the last one, I'm just going to back up because I finished it by accident. Before you finish your last single crochet, we're going to get our white and we're going to change colors again. Now we're going to do it the same way we did it last time. Just don't finish your stitch, drape your color over your hook and finish it with your white, and then chain 1 with your white, so you're basically securing your stitch. Once you've done that, you can snip your black for now, put it aside, we'll come back to it later. And now we're ready to work our white. So now working in our white for 10 and 11, we're just going to do 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch across for 2 rows. Just 1 in each. No increasing on these 2 rows. And once you've done rows 10 and 11, I will meet up with you before you finish row 11. Okay, so just like before, we're getting ready to finish off our round, and we're getting ready to change colors again. So don't finish the single crochet on the last stitch, but grab your new color, which is your main color, and just finish your single crochet with your main color and chain 1, locking in your stitch. And then you can snip your white for now. We'll come back to it later. Just put it aside. Now turn your work, and again, you can work over your little short tails just so you have less sewing in later. And now for rows 12 to 16, we are just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across for rows 12 to 16. Working over your short tails, or you want to leave them and sew them in later, that's totally up to you. Your fish. I just like to work over them for a little bit, and then I'll snip the ends in a minute. So just rows 12 to 16, chaining 1, going back and forth. And once you've reached the end of row 16, I will meet you before you finish off that last stitch. Okay, let's finish off our last round and switch colors. So we're switching back to black. Okay, and then we're just going to leave a little bit of a tail this time because we're going to have to sew him together with the corresponding colors later. But still going to chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, and then for row 17, you're just going to go one single crochet in each stitch across. Again, if you want to work over your tail, that's fine, or you can sew them in later. Again, that's up to you. So one stitch, one single crochet in each stitch across. And then before you get and finish the last stitch, we are going to switch to the white. And I'm going to snip my tails here in a second. So finish with the white. And chain one. I'm going to take a second and just snip some of my tails here. Put those aside. Chain one and turn. And then for rows 18 and 19, you're just going to do one single crochet in each stitch across again. For 2 rows, just one in each. Nothing fancy. Although our fish is looking pretty good. So just continue, and I will meet you at the end, or almost the end, of row 19, where we switch back to our main color. Okay, so let's switch back to our main color. So finish with the main color and chain one with it. Okay, now you can snip your white. We will come back to it one final time just towards the end of the tail. And then you're going to work over your other tails just like you've been doing, or sewing them in as you go. It's up to you. We're just going to put one single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So one stitch in each. Nothing overly exciting. There we go. Okay, one in each stitch across. Okay, and now for rows 21 to 23, we're going to do what's called a single crochet 2 together, and we're going to do that at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. So how to do that is you're going to go in to the first stitch, pull up a loop, then go into the second one and pull up a third loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, something like this, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then you're just going to single crochet one in each stitch till you get to the last 2 stitches, and then you're going to repeat that again. This is what's going to make our fish look more like a fish. So just go till the end, until you reach the end. Now once you're at the end, you've got 2 stitches remaining. So we're going to do a single crochet 2 together again. So pull up 1 loop, and then pull up a third loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then chain 1. That was row 21. So this is row 22. So in, pull up a loop, in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3, and then go through straight across, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Leaving the last 2 stitches for a single crochet 2 together. Pull up a loop, pull up a third loop, and yarn over through all 3 loops. Chain 1, turn. Okay, row 23, like that, all 3. I'm going to do it again at the end. So pull up a loop, pull up a loop, like that. You always want to leave the last 2 stitches remaining in the row. And before you chain 1, let's look at row 24. Okay, so we're getting ready to start row 24. Now what I did was I finished with the black because we need to switch back to our black. And I'm going to work over my tails like I've been doing. And what we're going to be doing is we're just going to do our single crochet 2 together for row 24. So pull up a loop, pull up a loop, and go through all 3, and then just single crochet in 1 in each stitch across after that, and then leaving the last 2 stitches for a single crochet 2 together again. Okay, and we're going to switch back to our white. So before you finish that last single crochet 2 together, we're going to switch to our white. Okay, so finish off with your white and chain 1 with it. Now cutting your black and put that aside. We don't need it anymore. Okay, now what we're going to do for row 25 is we're going to do it again with the single crochet 2 together. So 1 and 2 loops, pull through all 3, and then 1 more single crochet, and then 2 more loops. So we're going to do single crochet 2 together again, pull through all 3. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to switch back to our main color. And once you've done that, I will see you in a minute. Okay, for row 26, I switched back to my main color and put my other 2 colors aside because we don't need them anymore. So you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. In each stitch across. Again, if your stitches are a little tight, that's fine. Just take your time. There you go. Okay, and I can snip that little tail because I've been working over it. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now rows 27 to 31, we're just going to work an increasing row. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first. Okay, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next couple stitches. 1 and 2, and then put 2 single crochets in the last. This is what's going to make our tail for our fish. And then you're just going to chain 1, turn your work. And then for rows 28 to 31, repeat the same thing. 2 single crochets in the first and 2 in the last, and then 1 in each in the middle. And once you've done up to row 31, I will meet you there. Okay, I just finished row 31, and you should have something that looks like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to fasten off now. And you're going to leave a long tail for sewing. And then you're going to make 2 of these, but we can take a minute, snip our tail. Okay, and then we're going to put an eye on our little friend here. So just get some of your black yarn. You don't need much. And your yarn needle. You're going to feed your yarn on your yarn needle. Okay. So what you're going to do is on your fish, I've made a second one right now. He's right here. You're going to want to put the eye in the same place. So you're going to want to put it right about here. So about 1 row away from your black. As close as you can. Okay, oops. Try not to do that. Okay, I'm just going to pull, and you're going to leave a little bit of a tail. And we're going to do a French knot. So take your yarn needle, just lay it across your work like this, and then wrap your yarn around. I'm going to do mine about 3 times. And then pull it through. Okay. And then you're going to stick your yarn needle through one of your stitches, but not through the same hole you came out of, through a different hole so your knot can be secure. And then you're just going to tie it into a double knot on the opposite side. Now don't worry about sewing in these ends. They're not going to be seen. They're on the inside of your work. Just trim your ends a little bit. And there we have it. And like I said, you're going to want to make 2, and then we're going to sew them together. And you're going to want to get some polyester stuffing or yarn scraps, whatever you have lying around. And we're going to sew our little fish friends together. Okay, so we're going to get ready to sew our little friend together here. So what you want to do is put the wrong sides together. Now the wrong sides are the sides where your tails for your eyeballs are sticking out. So you want to put those 2 sides together. And you're going to start at your tail end, and you're just going to sew in one side and out the other. And you're just going to go all the way around your piece. And again, you're going to leave a little bit of an opening somewhere to stuff with stuffing. So you're just going to go through as many places as you can along the way, so you have a secure piece. And when you've got to a point where you have a bit of an opening, probably around the tail, I would say, is leave a little bit of an opening before you close it off. And once you get to that point, I will meet you there and we will stuff our project together. I'm at the point where I'm ready to stuff my friend here. So you're just going to grab some stuffing, polyester fill, whatever you have, to be honest. And you're just going to go through the opening and you're just going to stuff it in the hole as best as you can. Now, if you have use the back of a crochet hook or pencil to help get your stuffing to the bottom of your fish, probably couldn't hurt. I'm just going to grab it a little clump at a time. And I'm just going to stuff it until he looks fat enough. Then once he's nice and stuffed, then we'll sew his hole closed. But just put it in a little clump at a time. Push it around and make sure it's getting in all the nooks and crannies. Even in the tail, you want to make sure you get some stuffing in that tail. Okay. I think that looks about okay. Now what you want to do is just want to try and sew your remaining space closed as best as you can. Just keep going until your hole is completely sealed. Oops. There we go. Now doing best to keep your stuffing inside your friend here. You may have some that'll try to escape. I recommend sewing it a bit more closed and then stuffing it a bit more and get to the point where you stuff as you go. First thing, have stuffing spilling out everywhere. You're just going to keep going until your hole is completely sealed. Okay, a couple more. And last one. There we go. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to hide my tail here. I'm just going to push it inside the project and out the other side. Okay, I'm just going to snip my loose end. And there we have it. And that's it for today, everybody. We made Tish the Fish today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more content, and I will see you next week.